What is up? What is up? What is up, my beautiful, beautiful people? I know it's been a while since I've recorded a video. I'm in school now, and I'm, working. So you know how that goes. Life happens, and anyway. But hey, y'all. Also, thank you to my new subscribers. I really appreciate y'all. I really do, because as I've stated before, this being on camera, not so much on camera, but doing YouTube videos is still kind of new for me, and it definitely is taking me some time to figure out the things I'm gonna talk about, or if I have a vibe, I'll always share. But anyway, so it's gonna get better with time. So anyway, I wanted to talk about really quickly about the ego, and how the ego will always defend you when you do something that would be considered like some not okay behavior, or some fucked up behavior. For instance, let's say that you have an issue with your attitude, just for an example, and the ego says, it ain't nothing wrong with me, I act like that because of such and such, and this is who I am, and I ain't changing for nobody. Well, that's the ego, because the ego will hold on to unhealthy habits, unhealthy characteristics, and it tells you to feed it. It tells you this is who you are. Which subconsciously, that's like you telling yourself, this is who I am and I'm not changing. It's because you have programmed yourself to feel like that's who you are, when in actuality, that is not who you are. At any point in time in your life, you can say, I no longer want to operate like that, and I'm going to do my best to change that particular behavior. And see, the ego comes in, and the ego says, you ain't got to change nothing. This is who you are, and people need to accept you for who you are. Now, to an extent, I agree with that, but personally, I will only accept you for where you are, in knowing that you are actively making changes to that particular thing, to become a better version of yourself. Now, if I know that you have a shitty ass attitude, and you tell me that that's just who you are, and you're not changing it for anybody, then that lets me know that you are not actively working on yourself to become a better version of yourself. And that cues me to say, you know what? I don't need to be around you. If I know that your attitude is just dismal, it's bleak, it's negative, the only thing that comes out of your mouth is just, downing, low vibrational type shit. If you feel like that that's who you truly are, because of this happened to you when you were a kid, and this person did this to you, and so because of those things, this is who you are. Well, I personally choose, free will universe, I choose not to deal with those types of things, because I feel like the type of individuals that I want in my circle, or whatever, I want people that are constantly evolving, and I want people who are genuinely wanting to change, who are genuinely doing the work to change. So if you just tell me that that's who you are because your ego is saying that's who you are and you don't have to change and people have to accept you for who you are, me, I will not stick around, because I feel like this is how I look at it. I'm saying I won't stick around because I'm constantly doing the work on myself to become a better version of myself that I want to be. So eventually what's going to happen is, if I decide to stick around and feed your ego, what's going to happen eventually is we're going to grow apart. Because I'm eventually going to come to a point where I'm like, you know what? I no longer want to feed your ego. Because what it's doing is, in a sense, it's kind of hindering me from my growth. And that's not fair to me. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to remove myself from the situation. So I just wanted to talk about that, because a lot of us, even those with enlightenment, a lot of us are still operating in egotistical systems within ourselves. And we really need to check that. We really, really need to check that. And accountability. Hold yourself accountable for your actions. You know, hold yourself accountable, because at the end of the day, we've all had people to do things to us, to say things to us, and really too, we talk horribly to ourselves. Horribly. And I know I ain't alone with that. I know that many of us in our quiet times or whatever, you can talk very shitty to yourself. And that's not okay. That's not okay. And what you have to do is you have to tell your ego, you know what? I'm killing your ass today, because I no longer want to live my life treating people this way or speaking this way to people or to myself. It's time to kill the egos and allow the love frequency to come in and just rewire your whole being, because we all know that love is the most powerful feeling. We know that. So you cannot allow love in if you're operating off your ego. Is it possible? Anything is possible. But it's like, to me, I look at it like it's diluting the love. You're not getting the full effect of the love because you're diluting it with ego. And what happens when you constantly dilute something, eventually the base of whatever you had at first, which was the love, is really no longer going to be there because you've added in so much ego. So we really need to work on that. You really need to begin to heal. First, you need to identify what ego trips you have, because a lot of us have more than one ego trips. You know, you want somebody to fulfill your ego in this area, and then something else pops up. You want somebody to fulfill your ego in that area, and it's like you're draining the other person, or you're asking that person to operate in a frequency that's not comfortable to them. And then that goes back to you not being conscientious of someone else's feelings or someone else's boundaries because you want your ego stroked. Like, that's not cool. It's not cool. And until you get to a space where you are going to hold yourself accountable, you're just going to allow your ego to run a fucking muck and do whatever it wants, and it keeps you, your spiritual being, in a place of servitude. Who wants that? The whole purpose of enlightenment, being aware, is to free yourself from servitude of any kind, and that includes the fucking ego. Gotta let it go. Let it go. You know, I know that there are still certain areas of myself that I am still working on because of past traumatic things. And so I'm still having to work on myself with those things. But guess what? I'm worth it. I'm gonna continue to work on it until it's done. I don't have a problem with the continuous work because I'm a very bigger picture type of person. And maybe it could be because I'm Sagittarius. Sagittarius is ran by what planet? Jupiter. Jupiter is all about expansion. I'm okay because the bigger picture of it, I know that the version of myself that I can visualize and see, I know I'm going to become that. And I also have to tell myself I am that. You know what I'm saying? So it doesn't sound so far away. I'm going to become that. I am that. I have to work for it though. So I just wanted to mention the ego because, man, a lot of us, you know, still have a lot of work to do. And, you know, it's worth it. You are worth it. You are worth the change. You know, don't let anybody tell you that you're not. You're worth the change. So that's all I wanted. Shout out to Occult Tarot Tees for my shirts. I'll definitely put his information at the bottom. Goes back to the sigils. You know what I'm saying? Activate that subconscious with the sigils. So, but anyway, that's all I wanted. Check your egos. Kill the egos. The egos are done. Release yourself from servitude. Don't let anything hold you back from being your greater version of yourself. You're probably wondering why, you know, you're still depressed and you're still not happy in your daily life, and you're wondering why people are just not sticking by you. Maybe it's because it's some shit about your ego that you need to check. It could be other things, but I guarantee you, if you really look through it with a fine-tooth comb, you'll see that your ego has a lot to do with it. I ain't saying let people walk all over you. I'm not saying that, but I'm saying when it comes to you consciously knowing that you want your ego stroked, a lot of people are not going to stick around and do that, especially those who have enlightenment. We know better. We not finna stick around to do that, because for what? Somebody else could do it. But anyway, thank y'all for tuning in. I really appreciate it. I'm gonna drop Occult Tarot Tees in the description. Definitely check him out if y'all are into sigils. This is the place you want to go. He has a lot of different products, from hoodies, shirts, workout gear, coffee mugs. If you definitely want to have the power of a sigil around you, this is the place to go. So definitely check him out. All right, y'all. Thank you again for tuning in, my new subscribers. I really appreciate y'all. All right. Peace.